All right, so today I wanted to talk about a very ironic story, and that's UBC grad sentenced to 6 years in Saudi prison for defying ban on women driving. And they go on to say one of Saudi Arabia's most prominent women's rights activists was sentenced Monday to nearly 6 years in prison, according to state-linked media, under a vague and broadly worded counter-terrorism law. The ruling nearly brings to a close to a case that has drawn international criticism and the ire of U.S. lawmakers. Lajwain al-Hathloul has already been in pretrial detention and has endured several stretches of solitary confinement. Her continued imprisonment was likely to be a point of contention in relations between the kingdom and the incoming presidency of Joe Biden. Um, Rights group Prisoners of Conscience, which focuses on Saudi political detainees, said Al Halothul could be released in March 2021 based on time served. She's been in prison since May 2018, and 30 months of her sentences will be suspended. Her family said in a statement she has been barred from leaving the kingdom for 5 years and required to serve 3 years of probation after her release. Biden has vowed to review the U.S.-Saudi relationship and take into greater consideration human rights and democratic principles. He has also vowed to reverse Donald Trump's policy of giving Saudi Arabia a blank check to pursue a disastrous set of policies, including the targeting of female activists. Um, Basically, yeah, she was found guilty of breaking the law, for driving and all that garbage. But um, there's some points I wanted to make here. Again, the first one being the feminists are oddly quiet on this one. The feminists are very oddly quiet on this one, and this is the problem when it comes to these issues. And I think the idea that Biden's going to do anything when it comes to these situations is absolutely laughable. I mean, I don't know who the borderline retarded idiot is who wrote this, but you think Joe Biden's going to do anything about this? You think Joe Biden's going to do anything about this? Like, come on. They're going to push for social justice policies in the states, but the idea that Joe Biden's going to stand up to the Saudis, like, come on. Um, so again, I don't think they're going to do anything. I don't, unless maybe if they're American, they can do something. But I don't think this person's American. I mean, she went to UBC. But again, the first point here is that the feminists are very quiet on these ones. Now, this is one of the most ironic things I think about feminism and of this stuff is that the areas of the world that treat women by far the worst are the ones that feminists are least worried about. Feminists only exist, or feminists really only care about issues in Europe and in North America, right? And why is that? Well, the first reason is because we have free speech, at least to some degree, because again, I don't think anywhere actually has true free speech, to be fair, anymore, but we at least still have it on paper. Now, again, in these countries, they don't even have it on paper. So that is the first reason, I think. And I think the other reason, too, is that all cultures aren't the same. This is why mass immigration has been a complete failure up until this point, and is going to become more and more of a complete failure going forward because again cultures aren't the same. um, Different races of people on average are not the same. That's not how reality works. That's never been how reality works. Now again, people are always going to twist that into thinking, oh, you think all brown people are bad. No, I'm simply talking about averages. I'm simply talking about averages. I've said very clearly when it comes to my idea of an ideal society is I really don't care what color your skin is. I care about your ideology. I care about your belief system. Do you respect free speech? Do you respect property rights? Do you respect gun rights? Things like that. And the reason why I'm critical of people of other races is because white people are the race that is most likely to agree with that, which is why I'm the least critical of that. Again, it's very simple. Now, again, the zealots on the other side will always spin that into being racism, which again, they're going to do that regardless of what you say, right? It doesn't matter what you say, they're going to spin it as being racist. Um, but again, the point here being, coming back full story is that um, if the feminists really cared about feminism and about women's rights, this would be at the forefront of their issues. This would be the thing that they were most worried about. But no, that's not the thing they're most worried about. They're most worried about these incredibly obscure issues, right? And why is that? Is because, again, Western countries at least give them some freedoms, um, at least compared to these countries. They give them some freedoms to protest and to have their rallies and all this stuff, right? They have at least free speech, at least to some extent, right? So that is the reason why they do this stuff. And I think the other big point, like I was making, is again, not all cultures are the same. This is why mass immigration is going to be a complete failure. I mean, it already has been a complete failure up until this point. Again, if mass immigration was so great, then why isn't it helped out the West more? Why isn't it, again, not to mention, I mean, you look at the increases in crime, you look at the increases in sexual assault and a lot, like look at Sweden, sexual assault is through the roof there. The increase in crime is up, you know. Um, and I think it's not even best for these other people too. Like it's not even best for them either. Mass immigration is a lose-lose scenario because again, you bring poor people from other countries and you have them be poor in our country. Like what it makes a little bit of a difference, but at the end of the day, you're not getting done what you wanted to get done. Again, if these people cared about the poor, if they cared about the poor, they would be wanting to help them in their countries. They would be wanting to voluntarily help them. Like anybody whose idea of helping the poor is let's take money from other people and force them to pay to bring other people here against their will. Like again, like how does that make any sense whatsoever? Like how does that make any sense whatsoever? But um, again, the whole point here being is that I think another important point, I mean, is where is the criticism for stuff like this? Where is the criticism for stuff like this? And the reason the criticism is oddly silent from the people that support mass immigration and the left in general is on one hand, they want to have this women's rights, you know, strong, empowered women garbage. But on the other hand, they want to have this, you know, mass immigration is the greatest thing since sliced bread shtick, right? And you have to pick between one or the other, right? Because again, if you think mass immigration is the greatest thing since sliced bread, well, again, you're bringing in people that the group of people that treats women the best is largely white European Western societies. Those are the societies that treat women the best. Um, and which are the group of people that treat women the worst? Well, it's overwhelmingly the people that they want to bring in. So again, like which one do you care about? It was very funny. I made a video a while. This was quite a while ago about how a guy posted how Islam is right about women, right? Islam is right about women, and it's one of those things that the left can never acknowledge because again, if you want to say Islam is wrong about women, then you have to criticize Islam. If you want to agree with the statement, then you're basically saying that women should be treated as second class citizens. So it's one of those things that again, when you're having debates with these crazy leftists about the issue, all you have to do is bring that statement up. All you have to do is bring that statement up, and either way they're wrong because now the reality is that Islam is not right about women, but for the left to admit that, they would have to criticize Islam, right? And they're never gonna do that, right? They're never gonna do that because again, they need them to win elections. And again, a lot of people bring up, okay, well, what motive do these people have for wanting mass immigration if it's so hurtful to existing society? Well, that's very easy. It's for the votes. It's for the votes, and number two, it's to destabilize society because again, a society that's very stable, is not a society that the people of said society are going to be overly accepting of change. And what a lot of these political figures of the Justin Trudeau's of the world, the AOCs of the world, the Bernie Sanders of the world, these are people that want to make radical changes to society, very radical. Now, again, whether you agree with them or not, they are very, very big changes, right? Whether you agree with them or not, they are very big changes to the way we do things. And the way to get people to accept change is to create problems, right? Because the way to create change is to create problems because again, that will distract people from the real problems, right? That will distract people from the fact that they're manipulating people, and that will also make a lot of the people that are the most faced with these problems beg for the government to fix their problems, right? That will make a lot of people beg for the government to fix their problems. So um, I think this is an interesting. Well, the article itself isn't interesting. I think the point is interesting, and that again, like the left really needs to pick a lane on this one. The left really, and a lot of these right wingers do too. Like I mean, the Aaron O'Toole's of the world, like these people that still want mass immigration, like they got to pick a lane too. Like again, do you support mass immigration or not? Because again, if you support bringing in massive amounts of these people, then you're supporting, a society, a group of people that treats women like garbage. But if you don't support it, then you're basically admitting that the experiment has been a complete failure up until this point. So this is something we need to get an answer out of politicians on. But again, it's probably never going to happen because again, far leftists run the world. So um, anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. So again, if you liked the video, make sure you check out those links below. Very, very important that you follow me and other people you like on alternative platforms. I've been talking about this for quite a while now. It is now starting to sink in for a lot more people that again, YouTube and Twitter are doubling down on censorship lately. And again, it's only a matter of time until anyone with any form of credibility is banned off those sites. So again, you got to get on the other sites earlier rather than sooner rather than later. And you got to get a jump start on those other sites because again, you can build up a following. You'll already be familiarized with it. The last thing you want is YouTube to ban everyone who has the least bit form of credibility, and you have no idea what to do, right? You have no idea what to do. So get on those other platforms while you still have time. And also, if you want to donate, you can do that as well. Again, I appreciate any support I can get. All those links are in the description. Like I said, you can find them all there. So check out those links and stay tuned for more.